Well, here we are, episode 3 of the OP TVD.
Get out of here.
Oh, okay, see ya.
Well, that was the quickest hour I've ever been a part of.
Alright, we'll see you next time on the Orange Purple. Okay, well.
And lead-up music.
Yeah. We're probably going to be sounding tired than normal because it's almost 4 a.m. right now.
Hey, you know what? Iron Will right here.
Exactly. It's been a while since we last could, meet up, so, we had a lot of stuff that we had for each other. I had my Star Fox Let's Play. I had like 4 episodes for him to record with me, and then he had 2 episodes of Dead Rising.
And a special surprise for later, which clearly we'll get later. You might see it more towards Christmas because I've got a lot of other stuff to work on, but just know something is coming.
And now we've got this. And so we had all this, and we were just texting back and forth and saying, well, what do you think we should do tonight? And it's like, well, I've got to do this in the morning, and then we got to work on Monday, whatever. And then TheNSCL just says, well, we could do the Herculean task and just do it all in one night. And I'm like, oh, really? All in one night? Sure.
Challenge accepted.
And so we've been doing this since like about 11 p.m.
5 hours of recording.
We have not stopped. We can go all night if we need to.
All friggin' night. Yeah, good night, everybody. That explains the title. Seriously, I have not done this much recording in a very long time.
It feels good because I haven't done a lot of recording in a bit, and you've had computer problems, so you haven't done any recording in a while.
Shit. See,
it just felt good.
I knew my topic was going to come up eventually. My fucking vacation. Let me tell you about that.
What do you got, man?
Okay, so because Halloween's coming up, and for my review channel, I do a lot of different things for Halloween. I like to mix it up from my normal reviews, because, I love thinking that I know the first thing about horror. And October, the perfect time. There's plenty of horror media out there. I can pick and choose whatever I want, and I can be creative with it. So
good for you.
I take a week off. I had an extra week to use before the end of the year at my job, so might as well use it now and get some stuff done for Halloween, because some of them I'm covering are a little complicated. So I planned it out. I planned out a week I would take. So awesome. I've got an entire week. I can play some games, I can get some work done, I can get so far ahead that I will have no way that I would be behind. The second night, my computer, I turn it on, it stays on the Windows loading screen for about 10 minutes, and then it turns off, turns itself back on, and says, something is wrong. We're going to try to find it for you. It searches for about...
No shit, Sherlock. I mean, really?
It searches for about 5 seconds, and then it comes back and says, we can't find the problem, but you're going to have to fix it. What? Okay. There's got to be something I missed. Okay, let's turn it off, turn it back on. There's a problem with Windows. Fix it, please. Okay. So, my brother-in-law, he's really good with computers. He actually built mine. He decided, okay, it's either something got corrupted, or is a virus. Let's try the virus first, because I would hate for you to have to reset your entire computer and lose everything. And yeah, no shit. I took this entire week to get everything done, and I'd hate to lose it. So we go into safe mode. We turn on AVG, antivirus scan protection. AVG doesn't work. Something is preventing it from working. Well, this is starting to sound like a virus, because I have had, and I think you have too, one hell of a virus that makes it so that everything does not work. And
it's like a ransomware. It keeps you from starting any exe files. It's complete bullshit.
I actually did have one time that considered System32 a virus. That was mean.
That's just cruel.
It's that needed a factory reset. So anyway, we couldn't find anything on that scan. And lo and behold, the week I take off, the week I have my computer problems, my brother-in-law starts his new job and he needs to fly to Maryland for a week to get training.
The hell did you do with yourself?
Well, the night before he had to leave, this is when all of this started. So we started the scans, let it run overnight. We'll check it in the morning. If it can find anything, awesome. Step 1 done. It didn't find anything because we tried a couple different scanners and one of them finally caught. It finally actually worked. So we went through all that. We couldn't find anything. So he's like, well, I'm going to have to talk you through this over the phone. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Have fun on your flight. Whenever you get a chance, give me a call. We'll try to figure this out. So we eventually tried a program that you have to download onto a flash drive, and you can boot your computer from the flash drive. And what this program does is it doubles as a virus scanner. So nothing gets booted from the hard drives, but the flash drive is counted as a hard drive, so it actually boots something. It scans through everything it can detect, which was all of my hard drives. So cool. It's got to find something, right? Start the scan. It took about 6 hours to scan everything. So went to bed, woke up, came back down. It found nothing.
Nothing.
There is no virus. Something got corrupted in one of my hard drives.
Well, what the fuck's wrong with your computer then?
It had to have been corruption. That's the only explanation we can think of. So went into save.
Well, from what though?
I don't know. It's just all of a sudden decided, guess what? I'm not going to work. I know you had stuff planned, but I don't want to work.
A lot of people have been having problems with their computers, I've seen.
And I think it's a Windows update.
Yeah, must be. Because I'm not getting these problems. And what OS do you have again?
I'm not sure.
Do you have 7? Or?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I've got Windows 7.
Because I have 7, and my shit's running fine.
So I'm not sure what it was, but it is fixed now because I got everything off of my hard drives.
And we're talking right now.
Yes, I reset everything. It's all fine. It took me an extra day to get all my programs back up and running. So I finally got everything done. I'm back on track. I'm still behind, but this night that we're recording everything has put me where I wanted to be. So we're good now.
It's okay because I'm kind of late on my Okami LP. See, I have to do a whole lot in this one episode that's coming up soon. It took me like over an hour to get everything. And I got it all recorded. It's all taken care of. It's all ready to edit. The thing is, I foolishly forgot to save when I was doing episode 35.
That is like the worst feeling in the world. I think I did that during Persona 4 Golden too. I got through an entire dungeon. I thought, I'll end the episode right here. We're about to fight the boss. Shit.
It's just going to be a pain to get it back, but... Well, hey, enough about our tech problems. Why don't we get to some Q&A? What do you say?
Sure. Let me... I'm just going to go down my list. I know you had the list up there, but I actually want to read some of the compliments we've been getting. This is something I did not expect.
Okay, why don't you start with the compliments, and then we'll move on to the Q&A.
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
So this guy wrote down what he wanted to ask us, and then P.S. I love this podcast. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. Well, thank you.
Thanks a lot. We try to please.
Yeah, and this one, I think he was actually quoting one of the funniest lines you had in Dead Rising. He's like, "My name is El Diablo. It is Spanish for trustworthy." And he's like, "Man, fuck you, UDJ." I'm still laughing. So something off topic from the podcast, but it was still friggin' funny.
The joke's so funny, I'm told fuck you.
Exactly.
That's real nice.
Let's see. Another one, which, again, I wasn't expecting. I've been waiting for episode 2 for so long, for so much, whatever.
Well, now you got episode 3, so happy day indeed.
Yeah. And, well, thanks for all the positive feedback. We know we're doing something right, so
really appreciate it, yeah. Let's keep the laughs going, and let's get to some Q&A before we get down to the nitty-gritty.
Sure.
we have a lot of questions. You guys asked a lot of questions. That's really cool. I like questions because it leads to, other discussion topics, and we can get a lot of good content from that. So yes, ask questions. We will answer as many as we can. Good.
Yeah, if you're a first-time listener, if you have anything to ask us or anything about the show or anything that we do, ask it in the comments or wherever you're viewing it. Chances are you'll have to find the video or do something. Any way you can get a message to us, we'll answer it in the next episode.
All right, enough dilly-dallying. Let's get started. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Question 1. What is the scariest thing you guys have ever seen? I had to really think about this one.
You know what? If you want 110% honesty, there are 2 things that even scare me today. Every time I think about it or look at it, it gives me shivers.
You said you wouldn't talk about that night.
I'm sorry. I won't ever talk about it again. So I guess that's 3 things. So 3 things that I... the first one is actually the Korean comic. It still gets me every single time. And
is that really scary though, or is it just surprising?
It's more, it's more shocking. It's not that it's scary. It's just the mixture of what they do with a web page. And I think the second one got me worse, but it still wasn't as bad as the initial shock the first one gave me. And yes, there is a sequel, and it's pretty awesome what they do.
It's a pretty interesting way to manipulate code like that. It's actually kind of cool. But what's your second scariest thing? Oh,
the second one is actually a standalone image from Corpse Party, one of the bad endings that I got. I didn't see it coming, but for those of you who have watched my Let's Play of Corpse Party, it is actually one of the easiest bad endings to get in Chapter 5. It's the one with where we have to find Naomi. Go look that one up. That one's it's got that one image.
That sounds horrible. Anyway.
Yeah.
My scariest thing, I had a hard time thinking about this because nothing is actually really scary to me. Not a whole lot of things are actually, scary. Yeah, you got surprising, you got shocking, but, I've never been stayed awake by anything. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is maybe like that Andros robot face from Star Fox 64, but I was like 6 years old.
Oh my god.
But if I had to give a real answer, it would probably be this weird psychedelic acid trip version of Alice in Wonderland. It's really strange. It has like no clear kind of coherency. It's just massive colors and screaming and noise, and it's just unpleasant to watch.
Well, I think that goes more towards disorientation, because for any of you who have ever gone to a haunted house, I think the best example around us is the Haunted Hoochie.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's its real name, but
it's awesome, by the way.
It is. I've only been to it once, but the first time I went there was an amazing experience, because not only do they go for every single type of horror that people can be afraid of, they also have disorientating, I think that's the word. They have a bunch of flashing lights and a bunch of different imagery that you're not used to seeing. It immediately messes up your mind, and that's what helps it.
See, I was fine for most of it, but then once we got to this one room, it was like, you go down this catwalk, and there's like this spinning, dome that goes around you, and it just really disoriented me. I couldn't walk.
Yes.
Well, all right, let's move on to the next question here.
Okay.
Okay, we're wasting too much time. With the new, this is actually several questions in one, but first part is, with the new 3DS coming out, how do you feel about new versions of systems?
It depends on what they do with it.
Well, for me, if it's necessary to update or to upgrade, well, then why not? I mean, there's obviously a difference between the 3DS and the new 3DS. It's got, better handling, it's probably got better battery life, it's got better graphics, and it's pretty much just like a Wii U tablet. It is an upgraded 3DS, literally. It's not like, a GBA Micro or a DSi, a kind of a useless kind of edition that no one really asked for, no one really needed. But, I can see the new 3DS being okay, though.
Plus, you need an upgrade bad.
Shut up. Next part of that question is, do you usually buy the original version when it comes out, or wait for an eventual new version of the console?
I think we might have different stances on this, so why don't you go first?
Well, I usually get the original version first. I mean, usually I wait a few months before it comes out. They get all the kinks worked out in the first production line. But I normally get the original version first, and if there's a new version, it really depends on what kind of upgrades it offers, or how much sleekness, or how much they improve it. And it really just depends on, what you feel like.
See, I'm a little bit different when it comes to that because it all depends on the company for me. If Nintendo releases something, I know it's going to be correct the first time. They may improve it more down the line, but I know their systems are going to be correct the first time. Like, there won't be any massive breaking bugs.
And that's only for their handheld consoles that they ever make new editions of consoles. I mean, there was never a GameCube Slim or an N64 Plus.
Exactly. See, that was actually...
There was a DD, but that didn't work.
Yeah, that was the example I was actually going for, was the GameCube. I still have my original one that I got back in 2002, I think.
Me too.
And it's still going strong. It still works.
That's how I'm doing Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah,
still runs great.
Yeah, and sometimes with handhelds, I don't normally go for the first version unless I know the system's not going to be doing well, so I get the version that comes out, like the Vita, for example. I own 2 Vitas, for God's sake.
Well, it's all to taste, but this kind of ties into the next part of the question. How soon is too soon for a new version?
A few months.
For me, blanket term, I'd say 2 years at the very least. Especially if it's a new version of a console.
Well, how about this? What if the system is broken basically as soon as it comes out, Xbox One with the Kinect, and they suddenly say, okay, here's a version without it. That's pretty much the only time when that's acceptable, is if they release a version that's missing something, but what people want.
Do you remember the N-Gauge?
What?
The N-Gauge?
The what?
The N-Gauge? The thing that looked like a taco.
Nope. I never saw ads for it at all.
You never saw the Nokia N-Gauge?
Nope.
Oh, it was a shit handheld console. Look it up. You'll laugh your ass off. But it was so crap. The games were so buggy, and the console was so crap. They actually made a new console a few months later called the N-Gauge QG, and that kind of solidified the Nokia's demise, or the N-Gauge's demise.
Ouch.
All right. And for this question, lastly, what is your favorite version of a system? Mine is the Game Boy Advance SP. I'm going to go with the DS Lite because it's iconic. It works great. It looks great, and I never needed to go to DSi because of it.
I think mine, I don't have one, but I know it's a better system, is the top loader PS2.
The top loader PS2.
The one where you actually have to open up the system, put in the disc, and close it?
You mean the PS2 Slim?
Yeah, I always called it the top loader because you put it in from the top. Now let me tell you what is a terrible idea, the PS3 top loader.
Yeah.
When I worked at GameStop, that was the worst thing ever because people would actually forcibly close the little door that was barely covering their disc, and it's not a drink holder, guys. Horror stories, I tell you.
2006 PS3 was too fat. 2012 PS3 was too thin. But the 2009 PS3 is just right.
I still have mine. It's pretty and perfect and so nice to look at.
Looks good, runs good. Why would you need anything else?
Exactly.
All right. This comes from a longtime fan of ours, John McClane. I want to go ahead and drop that name because he's always been real cool to us, and ever since both of us started. So
John McClane, as soon as you're old enough, man, we need to go out for a drink, dude.
Rock on, man. You're cool. But anyway, his question is, I don't know if this question is a good one since it isn't about video games, but I was wondering if either of you have read any good books recently, and what are some of your favorite books?
You're more of a reader than I.
Well, then I'll go ahead and take this one. Right now I am reading The Disaster Artist, which is the autobiography about Greg Sestero, who was Mark in The Room.
Oh my god, that exists?
Yeah, it's about his experience with Tommy Wiseau and how the movie came to be and his experiences. It's actually really kind of a deranged, interesting read. It's really cool. Second book I'm reading is An Appetite for Wonder, the Richard Dawkins autobiography about how he came to science and all of his turns with atheism and all that nonsense. Nonsense. It's actually quite true, but haha.
Yeah, whatever.
And the third book is Me Talk Pretty One Day. It's kind of... Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's a series of essays from this guy in North Carolina. It's just... It's an absolute delight to read. Me Talk Pretty One Day is what he was trying to say when he was speaking French. And what he said translates to Me Talk Pretty One Day. It's an absolute delight, and check out the audiobook too. The audiobook is just as hilarious because he's actually reading it, the author. So it's just it's amazing. And for favorite books, might have to be Ancient Heian Literature from 1000 AD. The Genji Monogatari, the Pillow Book, the Sarashina Nikki, the Izumi Nikki, and all that.
I do want to throw out a couple recommendations. Mogworld and Jam.
Yes, Yahtzee Croshaw does good work. Well, you can take this next question. Have you enjoyed the Danganronpa games lately, and what are your thoughts on the next Danganronpa that's coming out?
I do have a good answer for that, but there's one simpler question. Let's answer that first. Favorite game of the year so far?
I got 3 right now, actually. I can't decide between Shovel Knight for being the nostalgic dream I always wanted it to be, Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney because it's 4 years' dreams coming true, or Mario Kart 8 for being just so addicting and so goddamn fun.
Have them fight to the death. Let's end this once and for all. Mine, subject to change, but so far it is actually Danganronpa 2. And that'll get back into the other question. I absolutely adore the series for a few reasons, and I talk about this in my reviews all the time. They actually make characters that you give a crap about. You actually don't want to see these people die, and that's actually really hard, especially when you don't want the murderers to die either. They all have their motives, they all have a reason why, and sometimes their circumstances are not in their favor. Sometimes they were forced to kill. So there's a lot of different factors that goes into why I love these people. And after I finished the first game, and this is kind of a little bit of trivia for you, the first game came out in February. The second game came out in September. Literally, NIS America said, well, if the first one does good, we'll immediately release the second one. Holy shit, how many did it sell? Well, get the second one running. Yeah, because Japan actually got the first game and the second game in one Vita package. So NIS, just to capitalize a little, said, we'll release the first game. If it does well, we'll release the second one. They should have known by now that it was going to be a seller.
I wish it wasn't on the Vita, though, because I don't have a goddamn Vita.
That's the problem. It's literally the other reason to own a Vita right now. It's Persona 4 Golden and this series. Those are the only 2 games I can think of off the top of my head that's worth owning a Vita. Apart from the Neptunia remakes that are being made, the only reason I've excluded those is because those are specifically for a certain type of fan.
I would gladly pay the $80 to get the Danganronpa games, but I don't want to pay the extra $200 for a Vita.
It desperately needs a price drop. It really does. But Sony's abandoned it. That's the problem. Sony's just like, Vita what?
I guess it didn't work after all. All right, next question. Is the goofy icon really the mascot of the podcast channel?
It's a placeholder. That's the first thing I could think of because I love this fucking picture.
Suggest your favorite mascot in the comments.
If they're looking at a piece of paper going, what the fuck is this shit? Well, I think we got something there.
All right. What is your take of horror games such as Amnesia, Outlast, Cry of Fear, etc.?
They all suck. I'm sorry. But I actually did play Outlast. I will fully admit, I was playing it with a group of friends, and something came out of the darkness, and we all screamed.
I haven't really played... Well, I haven't played any of them, actually, but I've seen a lot of footage about Amnesia to kind of get the idea about what it's about. And I gotta say, indie horror games are way better than AAA horror games.
No kidding.
The scares are simpler, but they're a bit more psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know, it feels more personal, too, I think.
Well, also, Amnesia, I'll give you a round of applause. There's no way to defend yourself.
Yeah.
That helps.
All right.
Are you fans of the horror game genre?
Only if done right.
Yeah, I'll say I'm a fan of horror games. I play them all the time. I've Let's Played most of the Resident Evil series so far, and I love Corpse Party to death.
Well, this kind of I want to branch off away from the Q&A and move on to our next topic that I want to talk about. What makes a game scary, yet still enjoyable?
Oh, boy.
Because I'm so sick of these shitty faux survival horror games that aren't scary, and all they are is just going around a cramped corridor with enemies playing dead for a while until they jump up and try and surprise you with a jump scare. It's full of cheap scares. It's just a lot of them aren't fun at all. I'm talking, of course, about Resident Evil 6, the later Dead Space games,
Lost Planet.
Lost Planet 3, The first one was fun, don't get me wrong.
Well, I didn't quite like it, but why don't we make a little simple checklist right now? Let's go between horror games where there's only one person and horror games that have a group, because they can both be done very effectively, but how?
Well, then let's consider this: is being alone a requirement to be a survival horror game?
Depends on how it's done. If it's done specifically to mess with the mind of the player who has taken over the persona of the one character in the game, you can work wonders with that.
Well, I know Silent Hill 2 is kind of like that. I mean, there are side characters and other characters involved, but you're mostly controlling just James. It's just James most of the time.
Right. So, side characters add to it, depending on what they do in the context of the story, but probably the best example is Eternal Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That is you, the one character. You do switch characters every now and again, but it is specifically...
That's because you're jumping around from history to history.
Right. But you're still being messed with as a single player.
It's kind of cool.
It's pretty awesome.
I gotta play more of it, though, but I got turned off by the Resident Evil-like style.
I gotta get it.
I have it.
Oh,
maybe we'll play it someday. Who knows?
Well, maybe. I don't know. Now, how about in a group?
That also depends how well it can be done, because Resident Evil 4 had kind of a group. You had Ada and you had Ashley by your side pretty much half the time. And Lewis!
And you can't forget the traveling weapon salesman.
Of course, the merchant.
But that's still more into the aspect of single, because it's you playing as Leon with side characters coming in to aid you.
But then we move on to a game called, Resident Evil Revelations.
Have you played Revelations?
Not a whole lot of it.
Oh my god, it's so fucking awesome!
Of course, I have the 3DS version, so...
If you get a chance, get the Wii U version, because it controls a lot better.
Yeah, I imagine that. But the thing about that is that always switches between characters as well. One time we're Jill, and then we go back to Chris for a minute. It's just, I don't know. It's like the less you know about the story, the more you start to guess. The more you peel back that mystery,
That's another thing to add to the checklist. How is the story done? Does it leave you in the dark, or does it give you all you need?
It's like the difference between Condemned and Condemned 2.
Okay, I love Condemned. That is probably one of the ending bits where it is just you and a serial killer in a cabin. You are running away from him. You are trying to find him before he finds you. That is probably one of the most evil parts of a game I have ever played. It was so scary because you couldn't find him until he was right up on you. And then Condemned 2, you're yelling people's heads off.
Ah!
That was dumb. But you did get chased by a bear, and that was pretty awesome. So, give and take. You had really stupid moments, but you had really, really good moments.
All right, well, I think we should move on to our next topic then. This one's kind of fizzled out.
Horror. It can be done right, I swear.
Let's talk about another bit of horror. I recently beat Skyward Sword after 3 fucking years.
Keep it spoiler-free, I still haven't beaten it.
I'm going to keep it spoiler-free, no worries, although you can probably predict everything that's going to happen. But
Ooh.
oh, I hate Skyward Sword so much. That's why it took 3 years to beat, because one of the things I hate the most about games nowadays, or games in general, is when I want to go from point A to point B, I don't want to have to go to point C, but to get to point C I have to get key D from area E, which I have to get by crossing bridge F, but to go to bridge F I have to go back to town G to get icon H, so I just hate getting shit added on more and more. It just gets tedious and it just turns into busy work. And that's Skyward Sword in a nutshell.
Also, the controls kind of really broke it.
I find that it runs a little better on the Wii U, because I have a decent sensor bar now. Hell, if I use the TV and the Wiimote, and the gamepad, I've got 2 sensor bars.
Well, see, that's the thing that crippled it. I'm not saying it was done incorrectly, it's just there are so many things that can go wrong with motion controls only. If it was an option, it would have worked perfectly.
I am glad that they gave you extra health at the beginning, though, to make it easier on you. Because there is quite a difficulty curve. It is the weakest, least best Zelda game. I don't say worst, I say least best.
Yeah, that's actually saying something, because almost every Zelda game, just on a standpoint of what we are meant to expect from the franchise, has been stellar.
What I can't stand the most is that it felt like that they were just recycling content over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's what I feel too, because you're constantly going back to the same places.
Now me, I loved Twilight Princess.
Me too.
That's my favorite Zelda, I think. I like the darker themes. I like the character design. I love the design, actually. It's fantastic.
It also had, well, it was the first Zelda game with a teen rating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's not saying much, but when you consider that every other game has been all about magic and whimsy, and then you get this thrown at you, oh my god, what happened?
It feels like the Zelda takes a bit of a darker turn, but not that it goes over the edge like Sonic did.
Let's not talk the Sonic franchise, please. God, it's so up and down. Anyway.
But the thing about Skyward Sword is that you literally go to the same places like over and over again. You go to the forest to do this, then you got to go to the volcano to do this thing, then you got to go to the desert to do that thing, and then you got to go back to the sky and bring it all together. Then you got to go back to the forest and do this other thing, go back to the volcano and do this other thing, go back to you're just doing the same thing 6 times before the game's over.
See, that's where I think Skyward Sword made the big misstep. I really think it could have done with another rewrite. Like, I think it was unveiled and released too early. I swear there's more potential that could have been added had they just gone back to the drawing board and said, we should change this. We should, maybe this could be changed around. Maybe we could do this differently. If they had a little more time to just sit back and look at what they were actually doing, it would have been salvaged.
I didn't really like the art design too much. I didn't like the whole graphical cross between Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, but it could have been a lot better. And I think now they've realized what they've been doing wrong.
And what's that?
Well, don't keep this repetitive, tedious, busy work bullshit in, that's for damn sure.
Right. The next Zelda's supposed to be open world, and I think that's going to change everything, because they've already tried this, and it worked. Because of A Link Between Worlds.
The thing that made the Zelda games so good was the amount of freedom that you had. And that's why the original Zelda was so good, because you could go to any level you wanted to. Or that's why Link to the Past was so good, because you could explore this whole world and find different treasures and all that. And you could explore the vast world of Hyrule Field, because there were lots of stuff in there as well. Same thing with Twilight Princess. Every other good Zelda game, there's a lot to explore and a lot to do. But in Skyward Sword, it was just all so goddamn limiting.
It was chained down.
Every place felt like its own dungeon. It didn't feel like a place. It just felt like another obstacle course. It didn't flow together very well.
Yes, and probably the reason And I'm going to say this with all honesty, A Link Between Worlds is my favorite Zelda right now. Just because it took what we knew about A Link to the Past, which was already my favorite, and it redid it completely differently. They didn't limit it to go from this dungeon to this dungeon to this dungeon, because you need those items. You get all the items right then. You can tackle any of the dungeons right then and there, because you can get the items right now. You choose your own adventure. You do what you want.
It gives you a freedom that hasn't been seen in the series in a very, very long time, and it is welcome. And
also the painting mode. Just being able to explore different nooks and crannies, that is probably the most glorious thing I have seen in a game. Just because there are so many different points to go to, from the light world to the dark world. You're finding new stuff all the time. There are so many collectibles to do. It warms my heart that game actually exists.
I'm glad it does. I'm hoping that the Zelda Wii U doesn't suck. I don't think it will, though, because I think they know what they want to do. I think they want to go bigger. They want to go with more freedom. They want to go back to the days of exploration, because they're going back to their roots.
They have the power now.
I don't know what they were thinking with Skyward Sword. They were just resting too much on their laurels.
And the controls.
It just felt like a shittier Twilight Princess, really.
Which is saying something, because Twilight Princess kicked so much ass.
Oh, God, yes.
I really love Twilight Princess.
That had interesting characters. That had a guide that didn't annoy you with every single chance that it got. Okay. I have these. These.
No, you're not going.
No. I have these Duracell Ultimate Ultra super heavy duty ass batteries that you can only get if you're a business, and I got from my dad-in-law, so that works out. And the thing is that, remember when Duracell had those things in the back where you push two ends and then it gives you well, this actually had that. And even though that my batteries are still saying they're about
Master
35% full, for some reason the Wii thought that my batteries were so close to death. So not only do I have Fee, your ridiculous guide in Skyward Sword, yelling at me saying that my batteries are depleted, or that I'm always low and run on health, and he just yells at me for fucking everything. Not only that, I've got a little thing in the lower right-hand corner that says my battery's about ready to fucking die, so it's just... I know!
One more Zelda game came out very recently, and the only thing I'm going to say is, it is repetitive, the story is silly, the characters that Team Ninja brought in are silly, it is 1,000 times more fun with friends. That's the only way I play it now, just the people I live with. We sit down and he's like, hey, you want to play Hyrule Warriors? And it's like, yeah, and we play through 3 hours, and it never stops being fun with other people.
I'm willing to bet it's more fun than Skyward Sword, too.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have a blast with it if you ever get it.
Oh, I can't wait. I plan to get it, but waiting for a price drop.
Good luck. Nintendo titles never go down in price.
Sure.
Catch it on Black Friday.
Secondary market.
Oh, that too.
All right. Well, let's move on from the Wii U and talk about what I want to talk about, the Wii U's indie scene. Because I've noticed that there's a lot of these cheapo indie games coming out for the console. And do you have any thoughts on that?
I haven't seen too much into the indie market. I do know they're getting a lot of titles that other consoles are now just considering. Like PS4, they were talking big about the indies. Xbox One, they were talking big about the indies, but they never actually did anything. And Nintendo was like, please, come on in. And, they brush off the red carpet for the indie titles, and they're just going, please, make yourself at home. Probably
I think they're trying to be like Steam a little bit, because they're taking in every single indie game that they can take, pretty much.
Well, that's good. That's publicity.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think the best example, would you call Shovel Knight an indie game?
Yes.
Okay, that is the best example ever.
Well, yeah.
Didn't it? It came out for everything, basically. Or am I thinking wrong?
It came out for 3DS, Wii U, and PC.
Oh, so they've got a monopoly. Ooh, yeah. That's good. It's fun. Now,
how have you people not gotten Shovel Knight yet? If you haven't got it yet, go get it now.
Maybe it's that $15 price tag, but it's worth every penny.
Every penny.
Do you think certain indie games need a demo? because some AAA titles...
Certain indie games might need a demo to if it's not very artsy and it's more based on gameplay, then certainly there should be a demo. But if it's like an experience, like I don't know, Gone Home, then a demo might not work.
Yeah, because like Shovel Knight, you could give them one level as a demo, and that'd be I think that would be good enough. That'll
keep you hungry for more.
Right. Something like I have also heard that people are saying maybe we should take away demos because that's hurting and not helping. Because some AAA titles absolutely blow, and the only way to find that out before you actually buy it is the demo, which hurts sales. But for an indie market...
Well, if you have that much confidence in your game, I suppose a demo would be fine enough,
Yeah. And also, Shovel Knight had Kickstarter backers who got the game first and were absolutely raving about it. So that also helped.
A lot of heart went into that game, I'll tell you what.
No kidding. Just a lot of love and a lot of people who made the right choice.
You gotta appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that went into that. But see, that's the good side of the indie scene. But there's also the darker side, where you just get these dime a dozen derivative pieces of crap. There's one game on the Wii U market, I don't know if it's still on there anymore now, but it's called The Letter. You can beat it in 6 minutes.
What?
It's not even that good. $2.
$2 for 6 minutes?
$2, 6 minutes. It's like made in Unity.
Oof. Oh, there's your problem right there.
It looks like it was made in Game Maker, actually. That's what people, got so worked up about. That's why I saw it on the most played games when I turned on my Wii U. Because it was 6 minutes long. It's like, is it really 6 minutes? It really is 6 minutes. Oh, like, holy crap.
Jesus. How do you get away with that?
It's one of those lame, first-person psychological horror things that people think are scary, but they're not at all.
But it's 6 minutes. You could get more longevity out of the Impossible game, which was on the 360. You could buy that for, $1? And even though the game was short, you got mileage out of it because it was ball-bustingly hard. I think I just made up like 5 words there. What else you got?
What? In terms of the indie scene?
Possibly, because you seem to have done your homework. I just sit here and look pretty.
Oh, well, yeah.
Give me that at least.
Just some indie games will shine, some won't, It's really just a matter of fact of just being lucky, I suppose.
I also think it has to do with oversaturation.
I don't think anybody expected Minecraft to be as popular as it did.
Oh, God, no. And then people thought, I can make anything? Really? Let's test that theory. And then, boom, internet exploded.
It just depends on, what happens to become popular, I suppose. I'm just hoping that it doesn't lead to another oversaturation again, like you said.
Well, oversaturation is almost inevitable because people are running out of original ideas. Like, how many games have you heard? It's like Call of Duty, but it's like Minecraft, but there's the problem. You're comparing it to another game already.
But how big is that but? Because you're going to make comparisons no matter what. It's always been like that.
Well, yeah, because we've always heard back in the 2000s.
No matter what medium, you're going to get comparisons all the time.
Yeah, because the only thing I heard about a lot of games back in the day was it's like God of War, but it's like Halo, but there's a lot of comparisons. But how is that possible? There has to be like an endless fountain of creativity somewhere, but nobody's using it.
Well, you just got to realize you just got to figure out how big that butt is. Like, I could say it's like Devil May Cry, but you get to fly a jet halfway through. Or it's like Cooking Mama, but instead you're cooking real humans instead of food.
Didn't we play that? No, wait, that
was the PETA thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't humans. It was like living animals, and you got to see like cutting off heads or whatever. That was really weird.
That was nice.
I guess that's your way of sweetening the deal. Like, you get people to look by saying it's like Devil May Cry, but you're actually a chicken or something like that. It's like you get their attention by mentioning something else, and then all of a sudden they hit you. They like backhand you with the extra but. So I can see how that would work from a marketing standpoint, but still, you got to have like some originality somewhere.
Well, where would you have the originality? I mean, in terms of gameplay, that there might not be that much originality. You might get a cool weapon or two, but it's probably going to take a lot to really innovate like that. But so that's why I say if you want to really innovate, you have it in your level design or in your characters or in your story or anything like that. Otherwise, you're just going to have a bland piece of crap.
I guess, because I'm thinking of the games I've been playing and what I could compare them to, and I think I mentioned this to you a long time ago when I got the first Danganronpa game. I told you it had elements from 999. It was basically a combination of 999 and Phoenix Wright. And I hate that I have to say that, but the story saved it for me. It had smaller elements from the better visual novel games and made something entirely its own. So I guess if you like fuse elements, it'll make something completely new. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
It's weird. The market's weird. There's too many games. You know what? Everybody stop making games so I can finally finish one.
Yeah, we're kidding. Well, you had the whole summer drought to play games.
But the thing is, with all the JRPGs I get, there's never a drought. That's the problem. You know what the biggest drought is for me? For the kind of stuff I buy? October through December.
So now the drought begins.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got nothing to pick up because I don't buy AAA titles. I know they're going to be around. I know they're going to go down in price. But the rare games that I get, they're only out for that one time.
Yeah. All right, well, got another topic for you. It seemed to work so well last time we did it, but what are you playing?
Since I've had plenty of time on my vacation not working and actually playing video games, Yoshi's New Island. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I finally finished a video game.
Oh, hey! Finally! What? You haven't beat a game since like 2010.
That's the sad part. You're probably right.
Probably.
I finished Danganronpa 2, and I was very happy with the ending I got. And now I'm working on Layton versus Ace Attorney.
I've been bouncing back between a few. I've been trying to find a couple of Wii games to settle myself on. I thought my copy of Dragon Quest Swords was damaged beyond repair, but luckily my Wii U can read it, so that's nice. It's not a great game, though.
I think this year has gone by a bit too fast. What do you think?
A little bit. I mean, it's almost October.
Yeah, see, like, I'm just trying to process. It's the middle of October. It's almost December, which is when a lot of people get their new games. I remember I got my copy of Super Mario 3D World December 31st. It was almost midnight. It was almost the new year, and I finally got my copy.
It was a couple of days before I got my Wii U.
I haven't beaten it yet. I'm on the final world, and I'm thinking if it takes me a year to beat a Mario game, something is wrong here.
Well, there's a lot of content in new Super Mario 3D World.
True, but if I'm going through just from world to world, normally it takes me at least a month to do the best I can to finish levels. I don't know.
We need to resolve to beat more games then, don't we?
Or at least me. You want to help me with my backlog? You can play the visual novels, I guess.
Gladly. You can try Dark Souls.
I wouldn't dare stick you with Onichambara, which I have on my shelf.
Ha! I don't even have a 360 to play on.
Oh, lucky you.
Very lucky me. Ha ha ha.
You know what game I do want to play that's just sitting in my library? Half Minute Hero 2.
Oh yeah, they had a sequel to that, like Hotline Miami too. There was a sequel? Really? I don't know.
I think the only reason people kind of had question marks when they heard that Half Minute Hero 2 existed is because it was Japan only for the longest time. It also came out on the PSP, the worst system to release a sequel on. But the PSP did a lot better over in Japan.
Every time I pick up a PSP, I just hate it more and more.
You got to find the right games, but it wasn't that good of a system to begin with.
I keep finding all these games, but they all suck.
The Vita is the best PSP I've ever had.
Don't get me started on Persona 1 for PSP.
Persona 1 was... It's still trapped in its time loop back when it was released. It was a different time, but they didn't update it.
What kind of RPG has 3 pages of negative status defects?
A really complicated one.
And they stack.
Like I said, first of its kind, it's stuck in a time loop.
It's impossible to play. They didn't upgrade it at all. It's just, ugh.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's stuck back in time. Persona 2, again, stuck in a time loop, but they changed a lot of things from the first game back in the day. So it's monumentally better, but you kind of have to go in with a different mindset as well to fully enjoy Persona 1 and 2. Because everybody thinks, wait a minute, Persona, I know that name. This is going to be great. You're going to have to go in with a different everything.
Well, the problem is Persona 3 and 4 kind of changed my life.
Spoiled.
Yeah.
Spoiled it all. And now...
Because it had interesting characters, and I got into it, and it was really fun.
Persona 5 has some really big shoes to fill.
I hope it does a good job.
I'm sure it will. I've got a lot of faith. I don't want to say this. I don't have any fears for it, but I don't know if it's going to capture that magic. Because Persona 3, it was dark, it was edgy, absolute magic. Persona 4, it was lighthearted. It was the lighthearted version of Persona 3, absolute magic. Probably one of my favorite games.
Yeah, lighthearted, all right.
Well, after all the murder and everything.
Yeah.
But Persona 5, it's dealing with internal problems. Being chained down by society. How are they gonna do it? I can't wait to see how they do it, but how are they gonna do it?
I think a lot of people are not going to like it just because it's going to be too hard for them to think about it, because nobody has any free thought anymore.
I can't wait for the reviews, because I always look forward to big games that everybody talks about, and then the reviews come out. I always love being pleasantly surprised, but as soon as I see like a score below like an 8 or something like that, I immediately go there. Like for Destiny, when that came out, I was like, it's got to be an 8 all across the board. It's got to be, oh, look at that, I was right. But why?
I don't really listen to reviews too much, only if it's a game that I actually do care about. And only then I only go to certain places where I actually listen to their opinions.
I go to GameSpot because I know for a fact they hate video games, so I just want to see what they have to say about something that's perfectly fine.
Well, they get paid off for that shit anyway.
Actually, what was the one score I couldn't believe?
They hate the games that don't pay them.
Okay, hold on. There was one I couldn't believe it got this score. Hold on, I gotta look this up. They gave a good score to something I knew they were going to crucify, but what was it? What was it?
Super Danganronpa 2?
No, they probably hated that one.
No, they gave it an 8.
Oh, actually, there's quite a few examples here. I can't believe they're actually giving out good scores. Persona 4 Ultimax got an 8. Five Nights at Freddy's got an 8.
I actually kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't played it, but from what I've seen...
I like the concept, too.
I really, really like the concept so much.
Let's see.
The characters, the isolation, everything about it is just wonderful.
Shadow of Mordor got an 8. Minecraft for the PS4 got a 9. Go figure.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't... It's the exact same thing, but it's on PS4.
Don't you love it, though? Ah!
Super Smash Brothers got an 8, which is very surprising. I thought they were going to hate it.
I was going to say 7.
Hyrule Warriors, that was it. It got an 8.
Do they give nothing but 8s?
No, that's what I'm seeing here. There's a lot of other crappy scores. And then I scroll down and I just... Destiny got a 6.
Yeah, that seemed kind of harsh.
Hatofu Boyfriend got a 7. A pigeon dating sim. A pigeon dating sim got better than Destiny.
It's better than Bungie's return title.
But not as good as Hyrule Warriors. Pigeons, anime pigeon boys, are better than Destiny, but not as good as Hyrule Warriors' repetitive gameplay. How does that happen?
Well, those pigeons are really damn charming.
I guess. I haven't played it myself, but I hear one of the pigeons is like a serial killer. So maybe I should actually get this. After I beat Long Live the Queen, there we go. I'm going for Hatofu Boyfriend.
I'm mad at that game. I'm just mad at that game.
Oh wait, I found
all kinds of mad.
Hold on, I found their review of Danganronpa 2. What do they have? See, this is what we used to do back in the day. We used to look at different reviews for G4's X-Play and see what problems they had, and a lot of them were very inconsistent with themselves. So now it's GameSpot.
It's like the good camera, good story, good characters. The bad, camera's lame sometimes, characters are bland, story is weak. But that's whatever.
Let's see, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. Interesting, relatable cast of delightfully weird characters. That's what I like about it. Well-paced story and investigation segments keep you engaged. Strong narrative, yes, that constantly turns your expectations on their heads. Another good thing I liked about it. Fantastic exploration of argumentative metaphors throughout gameplay. The bad, inconsistent new gameplay elements.
Yep, that is certainly a detrimental thing that makes me lose 2 points for it.
And problems with text and translation. I noticed a couple of these too. Yeah. There aren't misspellings, but they use the wrong word sometimes. Like the dialogue says, "Why did you do this?" and it'll accidentally say, "Why did you do the?" So little mistakes, not constant. It's kind of like Phoenix Wright 1.
Phoenix Wright 1 and 2 had some problems on translation. Just very minor ones.
And that's kind of what this one did. Probably because it was rushed. Like
my favorite, "The miracle never happened."
Oops.
I had the backspace second.
I couldn't take the time. I was on a deadline. I couldn't fix it. Guys, you understand, right?
Well, can we get back to Long Live the Queen? I want to talk about that game for a minute.
Why are you mad at it? It seems like a fun game.
Because this queen that we're playing is an idiot.
But that's you. You are the queen.
Oh, that's not me. If it were me, I would study more than 2 classes every week. Okay, Long Live the Queen is a kind of I guess it's a bit of a roguelike a little bit, where you try and guide this girl to be a queen of her nation and all that. It's actually kind of interesting because it follows a storyline and all that, and there's RPG elements. Well, you can every week she takes 2 classes, which you can use to increase several different stats. And every stat has its own little substat to it. So if you want to increase, like, athleticism, you can choose between running, jumping, or swimming. If you want to choose between military, you can go between military history, or strategies, or naval strategies, something like that. And you can, if you want to use magic, you gotta go through a couple of, storyline plot points before you can use magic. You know, it just builds on like that. But this is just the dumbest girl ever! Oh my god!
Look, you're a queen in training. You're like 13. Clearly, not a fully developed mind. You're taking 2 classes a week, therefore not smart enough to know that your chocolates are poisoned.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that really pissed me off. I'm just going along the quest, going along just fine, everything's going great, and all of a sudden I am roped into an event where I'm given some chocolates from some duke in another country. I forgot what it was called. And it turns out the chocolates were poisoned, and I died because I didn't have enough, like, mastery of dogs or something.
To say no?
To know that they were, like, poisoned. Just, I don't know.
But I could have sworn at that point in the game you had the choice to let your butler test them first. Or something like that.
I don't know. It's just... It makes me angry. And also, there's just this one piano song playing over.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
If you have a fetish for piano music, this is the game for you.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the piano music even overloops itself.
Nobody said it was perfect.
Nobody.
Here's something I wanted to talk to you about, because you introduced it to me. Vib Ribbon.
Vib Ribbon finally came to the PSN.
I had no idea what that was. I think you showed me the title screen? Or you showed me something.
The tutorial.
And it looked awesome. I didn't even know it wasn't over here. I thought it was. I thought it was like one of the hardest to find PlayStation games.
Nope, it was available in Japan and Europe and pretty much everywhere else but North America for some stupid reason. But thank God we got all those other PlayStation 1 games. Yeah.
It's on PS3 and Vita right now. It is, wasn't it from the guys that made Parappa the Rappa?
Yes.
That's right.
Music-based games like that.
Those are really good. PlayStation era music-based games were pretty nice.
Well, the original PlayStation 1 disc, it came with its set of, bronze cores, silver cores, gold cores, comes with like 3 or 4 stages each. But the biggest draw was that you could insert your CD, and then you could do a Vib Ribbon course that the game would automatically translate, and you could play your songs to it.
I didn't know that.
That is the shit. There's only one other game I know of that actually did something like that, and that's some Monster Rancher game. You could insert different audio CDs, and the game would give you a random monster that was generated from it. Really cool stuff.
I'm going to have to check it out. I'm sure it's going to be the regular, PSN $10, probably. Might have to check that out. It's a lost artifact. We must take a look into it.
The first time it's come here in America. I might pick it up myself, actually.
Nice. Maybe I'll try it on yours, because you make the smart decisions when it comes to buying games. And for some reason, I never get it through my thick skull that some games are good. They're okay to buy.
Speaking of which, this is going to be our last point, and I'm going to point my finger at the screen at you accusingly. What's your problem with Journey?
Oh, I think it's pretentious.
Have you even played it?
Yes.
All of it?
No.
You need to play all of it.
But I just...
You think it's just the desert?
No, I know it's not just the desert. The thing that I don't like about it is it wants to be style. All style. At least that's the impression I got from it. I can't say with 100% certainty that's all there is to it, but on the outside, what it said to me was, I am all style with no substance.
Well, I think you've really played too far into the game, because there's this one moment in particular it just kind of clicks, because I was like you, I was feeling kind of boring too. It looked dreary, it looked dull, it looked like the most boring game I've ever played, because there's nothing but sand, 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 sand. But then, once we got to this really exciting moment in the sand, that's when things started to change. That's when the idea of exploration came, known, and there was actually progress going on. And then you realize that the slow parts were just a build-up to those exciting scenes, of which there are quite a few strung throughout. It's not a very long game. I'd say it's about 2 or 3 hours, but it's worth replaying over and over again because of how, timeless it is. I really like it. I'm going to sit you down one day. We're going to play it all in one go together, and I'm going to make you change your mind, or at least have a different opinion of it, maybe.
Or at least play through it so I can stop making empty accusations.
Thanks! That'll work.
Well, it did come in a bundle, so I'm probably going to get that next chance I get, because I do like some of the bundles that do come out, because I don't have to buy digital versions of everything. So, yeah, sure, whatever.
It's worth it. It's a really good game.
Whatever. I'm such a downer.
You don't believe me? God.
This really is the journey to find a game I actually like and can beat. Oh, so
well, the journey's pretty easy. So if you can't beat that, that's more of a testament to your own skill. But well.
I suck at video games. I openly admit it. I'm terrible at games.
All right. Well,
of course, I say that as I'm playing one of the hardest games to Let's Play anyway, Dead Rising.
Yeah. You have anything left to add as we close things up here?
Well, just video schedules. Hey, it's still October. I'm still making Halloween reviews, and Dead Rising and Spyro the Dragon are still going.
Okami's almost finished. I'm probably going to do something else after that. Hopefully Metal Gear Solid 5 will be wrapping up here soon once I get my wife into the recording studio to do it.
Ahem. It's pronounced jamais vu.
Whatever.
I took years of French, and as soon as you said it wrong, I was like, oh, uncultured swine. Let me show you how it's really done.
I thought it was jamais vu.
Jamais vu.
What does it even mean?
Shit! Oh, oh, damn it. I knew it. Crap. No, hold on. We can't end this until I figure out what this is.
Yes, we can.
Nope. It's still going. I swear, I'm not letting this end until it goes. I know it. Come on. Never seen. Snatchers.
Okay. Sure. That'll work. I suppose. This also ends our Herculean task of recording everything tonight. I can't believe
it's over.
I can't believe
I can go to bed.
Oh, God, no, man. I'm feeling that. I think bed is in order because it's about 5 a.m. by now.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Don't forget, we are OP.